All right, everybody, welcome to another video. So, you probably read the title, you know why you're here. The mainstream larger channels have started reviewing the game, and it's very positive, very positive. And there are positive things to be positive about. I want you to go check out my first reaction video. I played the demo. The demo came out not too long ago. I played that. And there's things to be positive about, right? There's things to be positive about. I'm not saying there's not, but to call this a great game, a great Dragon Quest VII game is misleading. And so, like I said, so the videos are coming out now. The channel GVG, check him out. Link will be in the description. He was one of the first ones that caught my attention. I gave it a little view. A perfect compromise, he says. So I started watching the video, and he says some things in the beginning of the video that he seems to backpedal on later in the video. It's very strange. Well, let's get right to it. We're gonna watch it, and we'll see if his review holds water, right? So let's take a look at it.
If there's one thing Dragon Quest VII is known for, it's the slow pace. It's a massive game, and even just getting to the first battle in the original PlayStation version was said to take almost 4 hours.
That's kind of an exaggeration. It did take a while, but is Dragon Quest all about the battles? Is that the only reason you're playing the game, for the battles? Probably not. Battles weren't very engaging in the older games anyway. You didn't really have much to do. So I feel like this is a bit of a cope on everybody. Nobody back in the day really complained about this. This is the number one selling PlayStation 1 by sales RPG ever in Japan, right? Sold more than Final Fantasy VII, sold more than all of them. So I really don't think that's a valid criticism. It's just something people that never played it say. So anyway.
But with the reimagined version coming, I wanted to see for myself how long it really took to get the proper quest started. And so, a month ago, I played the openings of both the PS1 and 3DS versions of Dragon Quest VII, where I discovered that I actually preferred the sense of adventure created by the original.
Okay, that is extremely important. He just said he liked the sense of adventure in the original. Now, the 3DS version, if you guys don't know and you haven't played it, 3DS version also streamlined the opening of the game, the thing that people think is a problem, right? They streamlined it. A lot of bad decisions were made in that streamlining process. And unfortunately, a lot of them sins were carried over to the new reimagined version, right? Or like I like to call it retarded. And it's bad. But so the key point here is he agrees that the original from 3DS had more of a sense of adventure. And that's what I've been saying too. The sense of adventure from the original is lost in every version past the original 3DS and this new reimagined version. It's world building, it's adventure, it's mystery. You unraveling this mystery of your island, right? The world building, it's just completely destroyed, unfortunately, in just the first, couple hours of the game. Now the 3DS version, from what I can tell, after the original island, there's nothing different, really, other than the things that they were streamlined in the original that you continue to interact with. But unfortunately, this reimagined version seems like there's going to be a lot of differences, right? But let's get back to the video.
The 3DS certainly picked up the pace, but I found a lot of its changes took away from the overall experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the demo for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined has arrived, and I can finally see how this version decided to tackle the infamous opening. But before I get into it, I really do recommend watching that original video first, as I'll be referring back to the events of those games without restating exactly what happened.
Go watch that video, guys.
To it in the description below.
Go watch this video.
How exactly does the third version of Dragon Quest VII approach the material? Well, it must be said immediately that the game is absolutely gorgeous.
Nobody is going to complain or argue that the game does not look good comparatively, right? Compared to the other versions. I would argue that while the game does look fantastic, the character models themselves, I feel like the 3DS version, I like them better. Like not the fidelity, right? They don't look as sharp and clean and detailed. But the overall designs, I feel, lean more into Toriyama's style than these new ones. But that's to each their own, right? So
I wasn't sure about using a diorama art style to capture Akira Toriyama's original designs, but in practice,
fun
it's a
fact,
look that captures the feeling
Final
of the
Fantasy
old
IX
school
also had a
RPGs.
diorama
It
style,
helps pull the camera out compared to the
the
3DS
original.
version, while giving impressive visual fidelity to a PlayStation game that most would consider basic, if not dated. And it's thematically relevant too, as the opening movie emphasizes the stone slabs that are key to Dragon Quest VII's
Tablets. They're
adventure.
tablets. They're
I've
not
still only
slabs.
played the opening hours of each game, but even I was struck by a kind of nostalgia watching it all play out. After playing the demo itself, I would describe the game as an intelligent mix of the original and 3DS versions while updating certain aspects for a modern audience.
It's not a mix of the original and the 3DS. It is a continuation of the design philosophy used in the 3DS, taking it to an absurd point. Okay. Everything is stripped and bare. Everything. For example, you can't see it, but in this room, your house, there are bags hanging on the wall. You used to be able to interact with them bags to find items. You can no longer do that. Why? Simplified, streamed down. Bookshelves are another thing I noticed. Bookshelves in the original, some had books, some were empty. Now it seems you can only interact with certain bookshelves. Not really a huge thing because you always know if that bookshelf is going to have something if you can interact with it. It's just an interesting change because you may not even interact with bookshelves the first couple you can interact with, or the first couple you find you can't. So it set that precedent in your head moving forward to not try to interact with bookshelves. It's a little odd moving
The
forward.
story, as is the case in all versions, is exactly the same up until the moment the hero talks with the king of Estard about his son Kiefer's wild tendencies. The big harvest, finding your childhood friend Maribel trying to stow away on the ship.
The boat is smaller. That's another thing a problem I have with this version. A lot of the interiors are super simplified. Your house, the boat used to be 2 levels. You used to have, you come down the stairs, there's another set of stairs. You used to have 2 levels. There's more going on. It's very strange how they simplified everything. I do not like it, but
Her making you take her to Estard when summoned, the sterling reputation of your father, and the infamous exploits of your uncle all remain. The design of the towns themselves follow the 3DS version, though. The castle town is laid out in exactly the same manner as is your hometown of Pilchard Bay. But again, pulling back the camera helps make everything feel so much less claustrophobic.
I do agree with that. I will say though, I like the design of your hometown in the original better. It's kind of like more open. There's a little bit more to it. I don't know why they kept the shrunken design of your hometown from the 3DS. The Castletown here looks pretty good. I don't have a problem with Castletown. It's fine. The PS1 version didn't really have anything that different.
These places have room to breathe. Meanwhile, the overworld is designed after the PS1 version.
Super great here. He's gonna explain in a minute, but the 3DS version had 2 layers to the overworld. You had a like in dungeon type of map where you it's hard to explain without saying it, but they messed it up. They messed it up.
There's no gate blocking you from the northern part of the island, there's no behind the back view, but there are items to find in the overworld like in that second iteration. Reimagined isn't just a carbon copy though. One of the first things I discovered about the overworld was how the house of the man who hung out with animals is now gone.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest complaints, right? So I don't have a problem with adding content to remakes, reimagined, right? I don't have a problem with that, but they removed something from the game. Now, did they relocate it? Did they put it somewhere else? We'll have to wait and see, right? We only got the demo. But I don't like it. I don't like it. You don't remove content, especially if it was in the original. You don't remove something, right? Because it helps build the world. It helps make the world feel more alive, right? There's only like 2 locations now with actual people in them. And this guy's house out in the wilderness is gone. The world building is less now. It feels less. I don't agree with it. We'll have to see what they do with the character later in. He played a small part in Ruff or Gabo's storyline later on. Um, I don't know.
The developers had said things would be cut for the sake of pacing, and it seems this man, whose purpose I still don't know, is one such cut.
He didn't play
There
very
are
much of
new
either
scenes
other
too,
game.
though. Your uncle, called Pike in this version, is given more of a chance to show his personality.
He was called
actually
Pike in
showing up at
3DS
the inn to
too.
discuss his late rent and comment on how his sizzling stone has gone missing. The people of the castle town still gossip about him and say how much of a pain he can be, but I did notice an attempt to soften him somewhat, as one villager comments how he's still weirdly lovable despite all his faults. I'm not sure if that's the best characterization, but then again, I still don't know his full purpose to the story. Continuing on, there are a few other aspects that hew
I don't
closer to the 3DS
I don't
version,
understand why these guys
namely
feel
the
the
amount of
need
items
to
and money
review
that can be
these
found
games
around town.
when they don't
It's
have
just
any
enough for the
kind
hero
of
and Kiefer to
like
kit themselves out for the
experience
future
with
adventure,
them.
but it also doesn't toss loads of chimera wings
Like
at
he's
you.
talking like he's,
Rushing from one location to the
you know, an
next is
authority
not the
on how the
end-all
game
solution
feels
this
because he
time around.
played
The
3
opening feels
hours
better
of the 2
paced, and
previous
rather than
versions.
clutter items, the hero immediately
Pike's house doesn't look right. It doesn't look as clustered and dirty. And the spider that was hanging right where the hero is from the 3DS version isn't there. And that makes me sad. The spider was my bro.
has access to zoom, with it also costing only 0 MP. So
I didn't test out Zoom when I was playing the game because when you're on the first island, there's 0 reason to use Zoom. But I'm pretty sure Zoom now works as evac too. You can use it anywhere. I haven't confirmed this, but I do know that other people are saying that you can use it indoors. Previously, when you used it indoors, you'd like zoom up and you'd hit your head on the ceiling and fall back down. Um, yeah, I never needed to use it because the island's so small. You only have 3 places to go. It's not a big deal.
the option is still there, but it no longer feels like an in-your-face apology. Before even meeting the king, there are other changes that are well worth pointing out, one of which is something that I hope continues in Dragon Quest for the foreseeable future, the party chat indicator.
Okay, so in ideally, right, in general, I enjoy this, the party chat flashing when their default chat text has changed because you've done something, right? I appreciate that. But from what I have seen and what others have said, and the general consensus is they have vastly nerfed a lot of the chat options and dialogue from the original and the 3DS in this version. So there's just a lot less of it. And essentially, it seems to me that the chat feature now just tells you where to go and what to do. Um, that we'll find out more about that in the future. But yeah, well, I like the idea of knowing when to interact with the chat. It does seem that they have made it worse overall. So now it's just to tell you where to go.
For a long time, Dragon Quest has allowed the player to check in on their party to have them comment on the latest happenings or indicate the next place to go. It's often the best way to get characterization for the party in the older games. But I personally always forget about it. I get so focused on the next
Yeah, if
destination
you've
that
played
I
the
just don't check
3DS
in.
version, you
It's not
don't
as
forget
much of a
about it. You're
problem in
constantly
newer games,
matching it.
but you feel the loss in the older titles. Reimagined has changed it so that rather than checking in when you think there might be new dialogue, a character portrait will appear in the top right, telling the player that the party member has something new to say. It's rarely anything
Like, you see what I'm saying? All the party chat is it's just always telling you where to go and what to do. Well, it wasn't that's all. I don't know. We'll find out when the full game comes out.
insightful and often points to an already obvious destination or solution, but I appreciate that the party will now feel like a real group of friends. And besides, it can easily be ignored without issue. The castle itself still contains a shop with armor and items to purchase, and it still maintains that there are bears in the eastern mountains to justify their existence on such a peaceful island. However, across from the shop is now a mini metal exchange rather than a bank to store money.
I'm trying to figure out why they removed King Maximo and put the mini metal counter here, which is also strange if you think about it, right? Like, so they wanted to reduce backtracking to Esther Island in general, it feels like, because the woodcutter's house, they don't want you backtracking here. But you're going to be backtracking here anyway to turn in your mini metals, unless there's multiple mini metal counters. Like maybe every bank is now a mini metal counter, right? So I don't know.
And prevent it from being halved upon death. I don't know if this indicates a less harsh punishment for death, but I like that the mini medals are here, as they always provide an excellent excuse to explore even more with rewards that are often more than worthwhile. It's another way the game feels exceptionally modernized. The last thing I'll mention before going beyond the king's plea to the future hero to help rein in his son is the conversation with Kiefer's sister, the princess. I had bemoaned before that the localization had decided to give her a lisp, which, for me, made her a deeply unserious character,
Makes it hard
despite
to
her
read.
agreeing with Kiefer's efforts. That has remained for this version, and while I am disappointed, I am keeping in mind a comment from the previous video that pointed out that lisps are often used to make a young character seem cuter. The design doesn't seem especially young to me, but it's still
As far
a
as I
minor
know,
quibble
she
in the grand
really
scheme of
plays
things.
no part in the
But
game
let's get
ever.
to the real meat of the
I don't
changes,
remember the
because,
PS1
again,
version. I don't
up
think
to
I
this
ever
point,
interacted
the
with her.
story has mostly remained the same, down to the NPCs having the exact same dialogue as before. However, upon entering the Eastern Ruins and meeting Kiefer, Reimagined finally shows its hand in how it will streamline this opening.
Reimagined finally shows its hand and how it ruins the mystique, the world building, the mystery of, the island, the shrine. It just completely destroys all world building. It sucks. What it does.
And I find it to be incredibly smart,
It's not. It's really, really not.
while remaining mostly true to the spirit of the original. Kiefer tries his mother's ring like before, but rather than have the player run back and forth between the castle and ruins attempting different trinkets, he immediately pulls out the sizzling stone from your uncle and tries that.
Like, okay, why would he just randomly? Okay, so there, the game skips so much, so much. So the game skips a lot. First of all, you get a tome that you find in the castle. That's the same in every version, right? The tome also happens to have a tablet piece on it. Ooh, where's the tablet piece? Problem, you can't read the tome. So you have to go to a character he mentions later, the hermit, to have him translate the book. Once you have the book translated, you can understand what the statue might need. Kiefer goes and steals his mom's ring. Ah, doesn't work. What else might work? Maybe the sizzling stone. He goes and there's no reason for him to have all these items on hand at this moment. It's shitty writing.
It naturally doesn't work either, and I thought that's when the usual runaround would begin. Instead, Kiefer tries a piece of the plate, which he had showed off when the hero arrived in the castle. And while that doesn't do anything at first, eventually a voice speaks to them through the statue.
Okay. Any fans of Dragon Ball Super may know that Toriyama just started making like a lot of weird characters and like stuffing them into the show, right? What was that like little space cop guy? Was it Yakko? Whatever, like he did. Okay, so I'm not saying this is Toriyama's idea, right? But in the 3DS version, to help streamline it, they shoehorn in this character that stands out like a sore thumb. He just breaks immersion. There's no reason for this character to be there. There's no character like him in the entirety of the game anywhere. He's the only one. There's no support for it. It's bad. It's one of the things I hate most about the 3DS version. Okay. He was there just to streamline it, which ruined the intro to begin with. So here they give this character who I hate for ruining the game. They give him more chances to ruin shit. So the statue's talking to two characters right now. Guess who is talking to you? Yeah, that character. the statue never talked to you before. It was a mystery. Okay. The mystery's gone after this scene because he just explains what you have to do. There's no more. It's bad. It's shit. It's bad. I don't like it.
saying they must prove themselves to gain entry. This completely new scenario then does something brilliant. It
Brilliant.
combines the search for the other plate pieces with the process of opening the door. Instead
N- Retarded, dude. You find the fragments of the stone tablets, not plate, by the way, it's just tablet, naturally, organically, as you are trying to unravel the mysteries of Esther Island and the shrine. It happens naturally. They actually made it more convoluted doing it this way because you're doing
of praying and seeing if they're already worthy, it's tied to a quest while getting rid of fluff. Remember that the first two games had the player find most of the plate pieces in the ruin itself, just laying around without any pomp or circumstance. The way deeper into the ruins was blocked by 4 pieces of armor that would then be placed on 4 different statues. On PS1, that meant solving puzzles in the ruins themselves.
this game hates puzzles. Hates them. The puzzles in the once you finally get in the shrine, there are puzzles you have to do. The puzzles are fun, they're not too hard, right? They've completely butchered them in the 3DS version. They're not puzzles anymore. You stand on switches, that's it. And the switches are right next to each other. You don't do anything. And in this version, that's gone completely. And it's weird because it feels like they removed it this time because of how poorly implemented it was in the 3DS version, instead of going back to the original, which was done very well.
On 3DS, it was accessing the land beyond the North Gate and repeating a dull process of receiving the armor. In Reimagined, the armor is gone and it instead becomes a hunt for the pieces themselves. And rather than cut the important scenes in the lead up to accessing the ruins, they're integrated into this quest. Visiting the Hermit reveals new dialogue that
Esther Hermit, he's the one that like took the tome, helped you out.
shows he too tried to open the door, but was found unworthy. It both gives importance to him locking away the piece he did find, and explains why he can't stand the ignorance of the rest of the island. There's even a new shadow puzzle that's reminiscent of the PlayStation Ruin puzzle.
That puzzle was fun.
And this delighted me to
It was
no
a fun
end
little
because
puzzle.
it showed the developers understood the need for adventure. It was also a way for them to have a battle much sooner than any other version before it. Like my other 2 playthroughs, I spoke to everyone and treated it as if I was playing for the first time, not rushing in the slightest. And thanks to the Hermit's portion of the slab hunt, I got into my first fight.
Okay. People may not understand why it took so long to get into a battle for the first time. It's part of the world building. Okay, you have to understand. You're on this island, a peaceful island. Okay, there's never been any monsters. There's never been really a need for combat weapons. I'm pretty sure the bear reference was added in 3DS version as to why there's a weapon salesman, right? But the entire time you're playing, okay, everybody's telling you how safe it is. Everybody's telling you there's no other islands out there. That's part of the story. It seems like gets lost in this new version. We're the only island. There's nothing else out in the sea. We're it. We're the only landmass on the planet. There's no monsters. There's no nothing. Okay, so you're playing the game. You're getting told this repeatedly, right? That there's nothing else. And then suddenly you get transported somewhere you've never seen before. And boom, monsters. You're in a battle. First, and it's a payoff, right? There's a build up and a payoff to when you finally encounter that first fight. And it's good, it feels good, right? In this, they throw this at you pretty quickly, and there's no reason for it. It's very sad.
Fight against brand new enemies a little less than an hour and 20 minutes into my playthrough. It's not a difficult battle or anything, but it
Hold on. So an hour, almost an hour and a half in, they stick this fight in there, and people are complaining about just an additional hour without a fight in the 3DS version. Man, I don't know, guys. It's almost like the intro was built on not having fights, and everything they've done to improve it has, in fact, made it worse in some way, be it loss of world building, storytelling, adventure, mystery, or build up and payoff.
did reveal something new. The job system is going to start much sooner than the other games. It's not explained or anything, I merely got experience toward the default jobs of the hero and Kiefer, but it was there and left me incredibly curious. The second piece actually involved my uncle, as he claimed to know where one was, but would only reveal it if 3 bottles were collected and
See, this is kind of strange, right? And I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't remember if I'm pretty sure this didn't happen here. You didn't work with your uncle to collect the water now. I think you did it later on in the game. But they're so focused on streamlining the intro here, right? That they have you do this now instead of later, slowing down the intro. Because in the original game, you did have to get this bottled water, right, to do a different quest. But in this version, they have you do it right now. It, it doesn't make any sense. And it's for you get 2 items when you do this. You get a tablet piece, which you obviously need to leave the island, but you also get holy water, which is for another quest later. So instead of coming back to get that holy water, you get it now. But the whole point of this is to streamline the intro, and all this is doing is saving you coming back to Esther Island one time later on in the game, which you do multiple times. I digress. It just seems
to
dumb.
him at the new northern Rainbow Cove. After gathering some water that he would claim to be holy, the hero's uncle revealed a small alcove where a simple block pushing puzzle had to be solved. On the other side was
This
the
is
next
such a
piece, but
dumb
also a
fucking
scene where
puzzle.
he
It
showed
shouldn't
just
even.
how
I
dodgy he could be, as he wanted to evaluate the
push
piece
the
that he
blocks
had
in the
deemed
holes.
worthless before. Instead, he found his missing sizzling stone, which completely distracted him and sent him on his way. This only left a piece found by the hero's father after his fishing trip, which unfolded just as before. With this, the 2 boys return to the statue in the ruins, where it has since become dark over the course of the day, give over the other 4 pieces, and successfully open the door. Just as they're about to enter, Maribel appears and forces her way into the party as recompense for being left out of all their fun adventuring. While this revised scenario has cut down on the childlike adventure that felt so prevalent in the PS1 original,
Okay, the childlike adventure, it cut down on it. It cut down the best part of the game. Like, and no one seems to care. Like, yeah, this is better somehow. It's worse, but it's better.
it didn't abandon it completely like the 3DS version.
Well, the 3DS version didn't really abandon it completely either. Everything was pretty close to the same. I really need to go back and play the original to see exactly what the differences is, because from memory, the only thing I remember being different is once you get in the shrine. Once you get in the shrine, you have 4 puzzles to do and a bunch of stuff inside the shrine. And from memory, I feel like that was the biggest time save. I don't feel like the 3DS version did anything but cut out the shrine portion. But I must be wrong. So I'm gonna have to go back and play it and like actually see. But just from memory, I feel like the shrine was the only thing changed in the 3DS version. So that must be where all the time save is, but I guess I'm wrong. I don't know.
It felt like a happy medium where things were just challenging enough without wasting the player's time.
What is wasting the player's time? Like, how do you define wasting time in a video game, right? Because as long as you're progressing towards the goal being solving the mystery of Esther Island, solving the mystery of the shrine, as long as you're progressing to that, are you wasting time? I would say no.
especially those who don't appreciate the constant back and forth to the castle. It's a fantastic union of the two previous ideas while still maintaining the core story beats that needed to be hit. And it's not like the 3DS version was completely shunned.
Hey, look at him. Look at him. Look at this stupid fucking character. Why is he there? Why does he need to be there? He doesn't. He does not need to be there. Also, I want to point out some other things while we're looking at this. There are, so I didn't go try to interact with these in the these tablets right here in the, I don't even know if you can see my mouse pointer. There are tablets up at the top of the screen in like little alcoves. I don't know if you can interact with them. I didn't try. But counting pedestals, I'm pretty sure there's 5 pedestals missing from the 3DS version. So that's 5 islands that are either combined or missing. That's bad. Stupid. This character's stupid.
Either, as the purple creature known as the Curator is still overlooking the various
I thought it was a
pedestals for the
caretaker.
slab pieces. It's another new room design though, keeping all the pedestals together, but not needing to speak to the Curator in order to place them. From there, the completed puzzle warps the trio to an unknown island, where they have their first battle against some slimes, meet a
Second battle.
mysterious warrior,
Second
and
battle.
reach a small village that has had all the women stolen away by monsters. The proper adventure can begin, and it only took a little over 90 minutes. Faster even than the 3DS version.
Didn't he say he got into his first battle at like 120, like an hour and 25 minutes? It only took 5 more minutes. I guess, dude.
There's one last difference I want to point out though, and it concerns the job systems, as the battle with the slimes also fills the party's first job level. I had never even come close to seeing this system in the other versions, so I don't know how accurate it is, but to at least have some semblance of an early on likely gives a little extra flair to battles that might have...
It don't. It 100% don't in the demo. So all of the skills that the new beginner job classes give you, you learn naturally as your player characters, Kiefer and Maribel and the hero, level up. So you still get the moves. There is a benefit, though, it seems. What is that benefit? Well, you have access to them abilities more than likely earlier than you would in the later game or earlier games, right? Because it's tied to level. In this game, I believe vocations are tied to number of battles. So you get a level to your vocation. A rank, let's call them ranks. You get a rank to your vocation after X battles, right? In the previous games, you got access to the new skills for your levels, and it took a lot more levels to hit some of them abilities than it would in this game. So that's kind of cool. You will get access to them abilities probably faster, but overall, it doesn't change anything about the game. You're still going to get heal. Kiefer's still going to get flame slash and probably focus strength, and Maribel's going to still get like fizz and fizzle and the other attack spells that she would normally get. So it's just for the people that want to grind. They can grind out that location rank and get them earlier. So that's kind of cool. I do like that change. I haven't like experienced, obviously, because it's just a demo. We haven't got to the vocations, all trades yet to look more into the vocation skills, but this seems okay. It does. I don't hate it yet.
Felt basic otherwise. With that single job level, each character gets a new skill that will make battles that much easier. I don't think I can sing the praises of this opening enough. While it still doesn't capture
opening's dog shit, dude,
for the sense of adventure I had from the PS1 version.
Dude, he just said the quiet part out loud, dude. Hold on. I was talking.
Sense of adventure I had from the PS1. I don't think I can sing the praises of this opening enough. While it still doesn't capture the sense of adventure I had from the PS1 version, it at least...
It doesn't capture the sense of adventure he had. That's the problem, dude. That's the problem. That's what everybody's missing. It doesn't capture it. It's less. It's worse. It's bad.
Maintained a semblance of it. Reimagined smartly pulls from both versions while introducing its own ideas that all help establish a far better pace.
No, the pace is too fast, dude. It's rush, 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 rush. There's no time to take in what you're doing. There's no time to sit there and think about what you're doing. And the worst part is the little thinking you would have to do is completely erased because they put waypoints in everything. You don't have to figure out where to go. The game tells you where to go. You never have to think. It's just go, 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 go. You're not experiencing anything. You're not taking it in. You're not thinking. You're just consuming. You're consuming to get to the next exclamation point to get that's all you're doing. And it sucks majorly. This game looks fantastic. The character models could look more Toriyama style. I digress. It sounds fantastic. It controls. I like the way it controls. Okay, but the core, the storytelling, the world is it's bad.
The new voice acting also helps endear me to these new characters, even more so.
The voice acting is pretty good. Kiefer, I wasn't too sure about it. It grew on me as I played the demo. We'll have to see the rest of the cast. It's pretty good.
Than I already was. The only real problem I had is that the game is a bit too liberal with its story markers, making figuring out the next step way too easy.
Yeah.
I barely had to think, and as far as I could tell, there was no option to turn those markers off.
There's not. I couldn't find
This
it.
minor issue is barely worth complaining about, though.
It's not a minor issue. What do you mean a minor issue? It's a huge issue. You're not playing a game. You're being handheld to follow the markers. You don't have to engage with it.
I've played the opening to Dragon Quest VII 3 different times and in 3 different ways, and after all this time, I think I love this game.
He's already said on 2 different occasions he likes the intro to the first one better, right? But yet he's still going to fucking hand job this game, dude. He's gonna dick ride it. And I don't it oh god.
Obviously, there is so much more to see, but I can sense the basics. I know what it's trying to do, and I cannot wait to finally try it myself, whatever version that may be. For new players, though, Reimagined seems to be the clear best choice to start with.
Does it? Does it? I would argue the 3DS version is still the best version to start with. It looks good enough. It has enough quality of life features. The PS1 version I want you all to play, but dude, some of the lack quality of life stuff, it hurts. It really does.
You can even discover that for yourself thanks to this demo. I think it's well worth checking out for what seems to be a highly underrated Dragon Quest.
This is like I said, this game in Japan sold more copies on the PS1 than Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX. Actually, it sold more than every other PlayStation game, one game in Japan sales-wise. Every game. It outsold every one of them. 4 million units sold. But it's underrated, guys. It's underrated. Yeah.
How do you feel about this new opening, though? Have you tried the demo for yourself? Do you plan on picking up Reimagined? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to GVG.
All right. Go subscribe to GVG. Go subscribe, guys. Go check them out. Link in the description. Yeah. All right. So, final thoughts. What do we think? Look, guys. There are so many things to like about this version of the game. There really are. There's so many. There really. I've talked about them. I highly suggest you guys go watch my first impressions video. It's 3 parts. It's kind of long. I broke it up. Go watch it. Like the first part, dude, I'm all smiles. I'm like, it's pretty good, right? I have a little nitpicks, right? But you're gonna have that. Nothing's perfect. This is not the definitive version of the game. Point blank. This is not the definitive version of the game. I don't think it was meant to be, which is unfortunate. We still don't have that definitive version. That's sad. Like this is one of my favorite. I have a lot of love for this game in the series. I remember buying the PlayStation 1 version from. It wasn't Walmart. I believe it was Meyer. I bought this game from Meyer. It was the most expensive PS1 RPG because I remember I bought 9 first because it was the cheapest. I bought Final Fantasy 9 first. And then I bought 8, and then I bought 7 because that was like the ramp up for cost. This game was like $70 brand new. It was freaking expensive at the time, right? 2001 or 2000 when it came out. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We're gonna cover more of this game. I'm gonna make my own video going over these points. I got kind of like write a script and compress my thoughts down a bit more, so it's not as ranty. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.